Hey everybody, it's Tyler here at the First Championship, and we're checking in with your Technology Division champions from Ontario Provincials. It is 7558 ALT-F4. We checked into this team a couple of years ago, and this is definitely a team that has been absolutely incredible coming out of Ontario as well too, and kicking a lot of butt here at the World Championship as well. Awesome auto mode. It's been very impressive with that so far. But this robot coming out for a rebuild from their second event, it's just been absolutely electric on the field. We'll be, of course, going through that different fuel path journey we go through, but we're also going to hear more about how they're doing some current control, some other great programming stuff as well. So let's learn more about them coming up here on Behind the Bumpers. Charlotte, let's start to break down this robot a bit more. Let's start with your intake. Talk to me about what it's comprised of.
Okay, so this is our linear intake. It runs on HTP pieces here. These are 10 dp gear teeth that mesh with these 10 dp gears here. And this is run using, the sliding motion is run using Kraken X60s. Our actual roller here is run using two Kraken X60s as well. This is a 2-inch roller covered with silicone. It's attached to our intake plates here using 3D printed hubs. And then we use belts to belt these to the motors here. We have a kicker bar down here with a 0.5 churro here. And these are our two kicker pieces here. They're also printed using HTP. They're tensioned to make sure they always stay against our bumper using surgical tubing attached to the front of our intake here. So then when our intake comes back in, it fits nicely along here in our side intake plate, and it stores here in a nice right angle. We have a 1x1 piece of box tubing in front of our intake too, as well as a crash bar to make sure our roller doesn't get hit.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark power distribution board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com.
We were talking earlier between your first and second event, you had an extremely fast turnaround. Did you have any difficulties in that rebuild, like with your intake or as we go into your hopper? Were there any big challenges for you to get all that together?
Yeah, so in our first competition, our intake got jammed a lot. And between our first and our second event, we did a lot of changes to that. So in our first event, our intake, the angle, it was more steep when it came in and out. And whenever we crashed into something or a bot came into us, it would jam. So a change that we made for our second event was to make the intake more horizontal, so it comes out more horizontally. So that prevents it jamming as well.
Let's go into your hopper a bit more and talk about what that's all made of as well.
So this is our hopper. It's made of Lexan. We have a stationary hopper here attached to our shooter. And a moving hopper that's attached to our intake in the front and the back here. This is all Lexan, and then we have a net here as well to make sure the balls stay in. In our first competition, we didn't have a net, and we found that when we intook balls, a lot of them shot out or they would spill out of our hopper once it started getting full. So for our second comp, we added a net, but it was a very stiff net. So we were only able to store balls up to like the top of our hopper here. And then going into our DCMP, we realized we wanted to store a lot more balls. So we swapped out our net for a more stretchy net, so this can expand fully. And now we can store up to 75 balls in our hopper here.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information.
It's been very impressive to see so far, especially with that extra ball capacity here at the championship. You guys have been rocking it with that too. So let's pass over to Michaela, talk about the indexer and the conveyor. Once again, as we follow this ball journey through, ALT-F4, really fast BPS for it. So I'd love to hear more about how you're making that happen.
Yeah. So as Charlotte mentioned, the fuel passes through the intake and comes into this indexer inside the hopper here. And then the fuel comes through the indexer and makes contact with these two rollers, which help push the fuel up into the shooter. And then afterwards, it shoots out. In our first couple competitions, we found that as the match went on, more and more of debris from the fuel would get stuck onto these rollers, which were made out of these silicone surgical tubing, and the balls would begin to slip, and it wouldn't shoot, or it would start getting jammed, and we wouldn't be able to shoot as many balls per second. And so we added these zip ties, these flaps of tape, as well as this material, which is very similar to skateboard grip. And now the balls come in, they make contact with these, and we're able to squeeze a lot more balls into our shooter, which gives us more BPS.
Very cool with that. The material you're using, that has that worked out well for you guys so far, or like have you tried anything else? You're like, maybe we try this later, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we've actually cycled through 3 different materials. We've had this as I mentioned before, surgical tubing. We've had another cast-on tape, which is this material, and our latest installment, which has worked the best for us, is this skateboard grip tape.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the shooter and the feeder, and pass over to Ethan and talk more about how all that kind of completes it. And then we're going to do a systems check as well too, and kind of showcase all the fuel coming through also.
Yeah, so we have so we can start here with a 2-inch. We have a 2-inch feeder roller. This is powered by 2 Kraken X60s on the back, 2 here. It's belted to this main 2-inch feeder roller. We have 2 secondary 1.5-inch feeder rollers made out of silicone tubing, and our main one is stairwalk grip tape. We also have this agitator roller here. We found that this agitator roller helped a lot with directing the balls into our feeder, and instead of letting them popcorn. We can move on to our shooter. Our shooter has a 3-inch drum with silicone tubing. It's an aluminum drum, and it has 2 hood rollers, 1.5-inch silicone hood rollers. The drum is powered by 4 Kraken X60s. They're geared 1-to-1 to this, and we found that adding these back hood rollers would help keep our spin, would help us negate spin. So instead of having like back spin, we'd have like no spin, so we can have our shots more accurately. And then we have a hood powered by 1 Kraken X44. There's you can't lift it, it's on brake. But it's powered by, it's 2 10 DP gears. 2 10 DP gears, one here and one on the other side. I want to talk about our flywheel here. So on this side, we actually have a steel half-inch thick, 4-inch wide steel flywheel that we custom laser cut, because we found that in Ontario we had to have it this specific size to not be outside the frame. It's geared 3-to-1. So basically, what this steel flywheel helps us is keep our moment of inertia. We tried shooting without this steel flywheel, and our shots would disperse a lot more. And at the end of after our hopper is like almost empty, our shots would start missing because our flywheel would lose speed. And adding this steel flywheel just helped us keep our moment of inertia and keep our shots accurate and consistent.
Can we take a look at that systems check so we can see how the fuel comes through? As you guys are getting ready for a match here, so it's a great time to showcase this.
Okay, so to start with our systems check, we began by zeroing our intake to the outward position so our intake knows where it is. So here you see we have pushed it all the way out and zeroed it. Now we move our intake in and out. So this is to see that the motion of our intake actually runs. So then when we want to intake, we want to test if our rollers actually spin. From there, we can test our shooting motion. So basically, the first thing we want to test with this, if our flywheels run. So we start by revving our flywheels to their target position. And here you can see our flywheels rev. And then finally, we're going to try to shoot. So an interesting thing you want to see here is this is our Advantage Scope logging system. This allows us to see exactly where our robot is. And also, these frustrums here show the point of view of our limelights. So the reason we log all of this information is so that it allows us to be able to simulate the movements of our robot without having an actual field. Since we don't own a field of our own, this allows us to be able to test everything before we actually have it on a robot to test and a field to practice it on. This is extremely helpful for autos as well. So as you can see here, we're positioned in front of the hub and we're ready to shoot. So that now we're in the part of the system check where we'll actually start firing. So the first thing that happens is we rev our flywheels, and once it has its target velocity, we begin to run our feeder rollers and move our intake inwards. And that concludes our system check.
Let's start to wrap up on here from a software side as well too. You're talking to me earlier that you're doing a lot of cool stuff with current control. Can we go into it a little bit more?
So basically, a lot of teams, since because our robots are just so power hungry, because all of these motors are running rollers and shooting balls out, therefore it actually drains the battery very quickly. We found this issue, and therefore we began to track a lot of parts of our battery. So over here you can see one of our web apps that showcases this data. It showcases the supply, the current limits, amount of limits that we're actually drawing from each motor, and the temperature. Based off of this data, our robot automatically switches between power modes. For example, on low power mode, we would make our current limits higher, and we would also run our everything at a sort of lower power. So therefore, it would drain our battery much slower. So the moment we detect a brownout or a slight, or based off of this data, we would switch to that power mode. So basically, another part, as you can see there, we could see our vision system. Our vision system uses 5 different stages, which allows us to calculate our localization very well. So the first step is our per camera processing. So each camera first rejects any completely outlier of any results. From there, we do our smart Megatag 1 and Megatag 2 selection using hysteresis. And finally, we calculate our standard deviations and then combine them using a Kalman filter with our WPI live pose estimator. And that's our vision system, and that allows us to know where our robot is on the bot and allow us to shoot accurately.
As you got ready for our championships here, coming from provincials, which was incredibly difficult, right, and some insane matches, were there any big changes or big preparations to get ready for champs, or anything that maybe surprised you here at the first championship?
So we actually had to do a pretty big change for this. So originally we were using drive to point autos. Our autos were basically driving from one point to another. We would tell our robot to go to a position and it would go to it. So, and we would create like lists of these points, and that's how our autos worked. However, since we couldn't have a field, and we realized that driving on the actual field and driving in simulation didn't have a 1-to-1 ratio with our this system. Therefore, we decided to switch to our Path Planner system. So basically for this, we use Path Planner, which allows us to have a more 1-to-1 ratio between our simulation and the actual robot's behavior, and which allows us to create more accurate autos, which are better and faster. And an additional step we added was where we could detect if we went over the bump. Since a problem with the Path Planner autos is that you couldn't actually know your new pose after you passed over the bump, because it's a slightly larger distance than if it was just flat ground. So how we treated this is we calculated the tilts of the robot using our gyro sensor. And based off that, if it goes up and then it goes down, then what happens is we wait a set amount of time and reset our pose to what we think it should be after that time has happened.
Well, ALT-F4, first off, congratulations on a fantastic season we've had so far. It's been incredibly impressive out this, and we, of course, can't wait to see how you do here at the first championship. But really appreciate all the great stuff that you've been able to teach us here in this Behind the Bumpers, and we wish you best of luck the rest of the way. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark Power Distribution Board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com.